In this video, I will be going over lesson 7, which is about percents and equations. Alright, our first problem here says that Diego went to a restaurant and his dinner bill was $24. He paid a total of $28.32, which of the equations can help him find the tip, percent, and decimal x that Diego gave the server. Okay, well, first of all, there's two answers we can cross off right away, and let's think about the problem we're given here. When you go to a restaurant and you have a total and then you are adding your tip to give your server, right? When you are adding in your tip to your total, that is something you are adding, correct? So a tip isn't something I'm taking off. It's not like the waiter or waitress has to cover a part of my meal, right? The tip is something I'm adding onto it to thank them for, bringing me drinks, bringing me my food, etc. So when I'm looking at these answer choices here, this 24 minus 24 minus 24 and 24 minus 24, these I'm going to cross out because I'm not subtracting, right? It's not a discount. I'm adding a tip to my total. The next thing I want to look at is what is on the right side of my equal sign. Here I see a 4.32 and here I see a 28.32, right? Remember, your total always goes on one side of your equal sign by itself. So if I look at how much Diego paid for the total of his bill, he paid $28.32 for his whole bill, which means that A is our correct answer here. I'm adding, which is one of my check marks, and then I have my correct total number on the other side of my equal sign. Our next question says that Jamie is buying a dress with a discount of 20%. If the original cost of the dress was 60%, what is the discounted price? So here, anytime you see a percent and a number, you always want to start by multiplying them, okay? And then we can use context clues to figure out whether or not we're adding or we're subtracting. So here I'm going to take 60 and I'm going to multiply it by 20%. This 20% needs to be changed to a decimal before you start multiplying it in. 20% as a decimal is 0.2. If you don't know what it is as a decimal, you can take your percent, which is 20 here, and then divide it by 100. That will give you 0.2. So since we have decimals here, you can type this into a calculator to help you if you would like. So if I were to take 60 and multiply it by 0.2, I get 12. So $12 is how much money is going to be taken off of the dress when I go to a register. Okay, I'm not paying $12 for my dress. That's super, super cheap, and that seems like a lot more than just 20% off, right? So $12 is how much money is going to be taken off of my dress. So to figure out how much money Jamie is actually paying for it, I want to take the $60, which is my original price, and subtract it from the 12, which is how much money is going to be taken off of the dress. When I subtract these two, I get $48. So that means Jamie is going to be paying $48 for this dress. That is 20% off. All right, our next question here says that Melissa earns a 2% commission on the first $750 of sales she makes each week. She earns a 3% commission on the amount of her sales that are greater than $750 each week. Melissa earned $37.50 in commissions last week. Which equations correctly calculate how much money in dollars X Melissa made during sales last week? Select all that apply. Okay, so this one is a little bit different from what we're used to seeing. One of the hints I'm going to give you right away is remember that when we are seeing a number and a percentage, we want to multiply them, okay? So when I'm looking through these 6 different answer choices, there's 3 of them that are correct. And if I were to solve this, I personally would go about it in this one down here, this F. So it says that she earns 2% commission on the first $750, and then she earns 3% commission on her next $750, right? So here, this 0.2 times, I accidentally chose the wrong one. The variable was in the wrong spot when I looked at the later one, sorry. So here, this 0.2 times 750, this represents what she first earns on commission, okay? And then this 0.3, and you notice how I have this x minus 750? That is because she has to earn over $750 to earn 3% commission. So right here it says that are greater than 750. So the reason why I'm subtracting is because say I had a sale that was like $800. I would do 800 and I would subtract that 750, which means I would only be earning 3% commission on that $50. So that's why that one is correct. The next one that is correct is this answer choice here, which is C. So it looks like I'm taking 15, I'm adding it to 0.03x, and I'm subtracting 22.5, and that's going to give me 37.5, which is how much she earns in commission. So the reason why this answer choice is correct here is it's a little bit abstract, I would say. If you take this 2% of 750 and you multiply them, okay, that is going to give us one of the numbers in our equation here. So 2% times 750 gives us this 15, okay? So this 15 is just what she's getting. And then I have this minus 22.5. And the reason why I have this here is because if I were to take 15 and add it to this, I get how much she earns, this 37.5, which means that anything she earns over this 15 is what she's going to get with this 3% commission. So again, this question I think is it's definitely challenging. I had to really look at it and kind of go through the answer choices myself before. So if you're a little bit confused, that's okay. This one is definitely more trickier than the first two. Okay. And then the very last one that is correct is going to be this one here. Okay. And the reason why this one is correct is notice how it takes this expression, this part of this equation here, writes it here. Now the only difference here is that it took this, which is what we had multiplied, right? Remember when we multiplied that 0.2 or 0.02 times 750, it multiplied it, we got 15. All it's doing is subtracting the 15 from this side to get rid of this. So that is why this one here works. Right, so if I were to start simplifying this top one, I would have 15 plus 0.3 times x minus 750 equals 37.5. So all it's doing is subtracting this 15 from both sides to write it as 0.03, sorry, I forgot the extra 0. So that's all that it's doing here. So that is why that one is also correct. And if you look up here for C, if I were to distribute this, right, this is that first part, 0.03 times x, and 0.03 times 750 gives me this 22.5. So both of these two equations are just different forms of that first one. All right, so next we're going to be talking about simple interest. So I went over this in the quiz video for Unit 2, so this isn't the first time we're seeing this. And remember that whenever you see simple interest, you want to use IPERT. Okay, so I equals PRT, IPERT. I is the amount of interest that you're earning in dollars. P is your principal or your original amount. And then R is your interest rate in a decimal form. You have to remember to change it into a decimal form. And then T is your time, and time is typically given in years. I don't know if we have any where it's not in years. If we do, we'll get there, and I'll show you what to do for that. Our first question says that Brianna is taking out a 5-year car loan for $10,000 with an annual interest rate of 4.5%. Which equation represents the total amount X she will pay for the car at the end of the loan? Okay, so let's think about our IPERT here. Okay, so the amount of money that she's taking out of her loan is $10,000, right? That's how much money she has to take out. So my principal here is going to be $10,000. My interest rate is 4.5%. So as a decimal, that's 0.045. And her car loan is 5 years long. Okay, so if I were to multiply all three of these numbers together, that would give me how much interest she has to pay, which is I. Now, she has to pay back the interest on her loan plus that $10,000, sorry, plus that $10,000 that she had first taken out, right? She has to pay back the $10,000 plus whatever she accumulates in interest. So if I look at my answer choices here, this one and this one I'm crossing off right away, because if you notice, they didn't change those decimals into, or the percents into a decimal first. So those two right away are wrong. Between the last two, C is the correct answer choice here, because it has this $10,000, which is what she has to pay back, because that's how much money she borrowed in the first place, plus this part over here, and this whole second part represents how much money she's going to be paying in interest, right? This whole section is how much money she's going to be paying back in interest. All right, our next problem says that Nathan opens a new savings account and makes an initial deposit of $400. If the account earns 2% annual interest, how much interest will he earn in 9 months? So here's where we're given a unit of time for T, but it's not in years, it's in months. So let's first start by writing out our formula. IPERT. Okay. So I know he makes an initial deposit of $400. So 400 is how much he originally is depositing, which means 400 is our principal. So 400 is going to come first. The next is my interest rate, which is 2%, which is 0.02. Again, if you don't know, you could do 2 divided by 100. And then next is time. So remember, time has to be in years, and there are 12 months in 1 year, correct? So there are 12 months in 1 year. So I only need 9 out of those 12 months, which means I'm going to put 9 over 12 here. Okay, so I only need 9 out of those 12 months. So I'm going to put 9 over 12. Anytime you are given months or a unit of months, you want to put it as a fraction over 12, because remember, T only represents time in years. So that is why we have to put this 9 over 12. From here, all we have to do is type that all into a calculator, and that is going to give us how much interest Nathan is going to earn. So I have 400, I'm multiplying that by 0.02, and I'm going to multiply that by 9 over 12. And with the Desmos, it's super easy to type in the calculator, or the fraction, right? And if you want this link, the link is right here, so desmos.com/scientific. I also put the link for the calculator in the announcements as well, so you can click on any of the announcements and go to it there. All right, so that tells me 6. Which means that Nathan here is going to earn $6 in interest after 9 months of leaving his $400 in the bank. So $6. All right, our next question says that Anthony is buying a new TV that is 25% off. The original price of the TV was $390. Which answer gives the best estimate for the TV's price after the discount? So I see that I have a percent and I see that I have a number, 25% and a number. I want to multiply them, but remember, I need to first multiply them with 25% as a decimal. So I have 390 times 0.25. Bring back our calculator. 390 times 0.25. That gives me $97.50. This is how much money is being taken off. So to figure out how much you would pay for the TV, I need to take the original price and subtract it from the discount. So 390, I'm going to subtract that from 97.50, and I get 292.5, which means that 300 is going to be the closest, right? Out of all those answer choices, the best estimate is going to be around $300 for Anthony's new TV. All right, I believe this is our last question. Last question says that Marlene estimates that 48% of 1,100 or 1,220 is about 600. Which statement describes why this is a reasonable estimate? Okay, well, if we think about it, 48% is very close to 50%, right? And when you take 50% of anything, you're essentially just cutting it in half, because 50% is another way of saying like 1/2 or 0.5 or anything like that. And if I look at this 1220, this 1,220 is very close to just 1,200, right? So half of 1,200 is just going to be 600, which is where she gets this. It's about 600. So the statement that describes why this is a reasonable estimate is because the answer should be close to half of 1,200. Right? If I'm rounding up that percentage and I'm rounding down that number, it's about 50% of 1,200, which is what we have at the bottom, which is how she gets it's about 600. All right, that is all that I have for lesson 7. If you have any questions, please let me know.